Hi guys, it's Dan Owen here from Team EXT. This is my top 8 deck profile for the Team Wars event at Birmingham at the UK Games Expo that we had on Saturday. So I was running starter deck Broly in our team. I was partnered up with Blaine Perry, who was running Janemba Mill, and Nathan Mills, who was running the yellow Broly with the Veggies engine. So we did share a few colors there, mainly with the yellow side, but we kind of was able to work around it pretty well. He didn't need Nimbus and things like that. So I'll go with my main deck choices first. I'll just go over the green package to begin with because that's fairly basic. So I ran 3 of the one-drop Brolys. I didn't think I needed 4 of these because I can obviously search them out of my leader skill. So ideally what I would try to do off the mulligan is either search for one of these or one of the Paragus, and I would just use my leader skill to search for the other, so I've got a way to obviously go into my chain. The next card that we've got is the Golemite. I started off with 3 of these, but ended up upping it to 4 because I really like this card. It puts on a lot of pressure. You can give 5k just standard combo power, and then his effect lets you give 5k to any other Broly BR card that you've got on the field. So it's really nice for like a turn 1 play when you've got the one drop Broly. You can give him, say, the 5k when you swing, and then give 5k to your leader, so then you've got two 15k swings right off the bat, which puts on a nice little bit of pressure to take that early life away. And obviously then as you keep going through the chain, it just ends up being like a nice 10k combo piece in some of your higher ones, or just giving the extra 5k to your leader, so it's just a lot of pressure. So when I first started testing, I actually only began with like 2 of these, but I ended up upping it more and more and more because he's just so nice to see as you're playing through, especially when you swing with your leader and draw into it as well. You can kind of save that for your next turn, or even add it on if you go in for the kill. Again, running 3 of the Paragus to Sacrifice, he's really nice to either search for with your skill. So I kind of partnered him up with the one-drop Broly, so I saw this as like running 6 of a card. So I had a way of either searching one or the other depending on what I saw off my mulligan. 4 of the 2-drop Paragus. Again, he's really nice. You kind of really want to see him for turn 2 because he lets you search out the control mechanism, which lets you find a card, and he's really good at filtering through your deck to find one of the Brolys that you're missing. So he'll either search out like the 4-drop or the 6-drop Broly as well. So yeah, run 4 of him. 4 of the 4-drop Broly. You definitely need 4 of these. You kind of want 4 of the whole chain really to get yourself going. He just comes in off of the 1-drop, so it's pretty standard. 4 of the 6-drop again, and 4 of the 8-drop. There's not really much to talk about there, I'm afraid. That's pretty standard with what you want. I know some people like to run 3 of the 8-drop, but I like to run 4 because I really want to see it, because you can't search it out. If I saw it off the mulligan, I kept holding on to it because I wasn't sure obviously if I draw into it later. And when I was testing a few times, I would have to 6-drop out and I wouldn't see the 8-drop just from bad draws. So having 4 of those just guarantees that you'll have it when you need it. I run 2 Godly Destruction Whis, so I did run a yellow package. I did test blue to start off with, because originally when we started testing for teams, Blaine Perry was testing Super Shenron, but now that that's gone, he moved on to Janemba, so yellow opened up again and I grabbed that. I had the Whis in. I didn't really play it too much because I didn't really play against many untapped decks. I played against a lot of red on the day. But he's nice, obviously, for the untap, but he's also just combo potential as well. I didn't want too many extra cards in there that I couldn't dump. So, like, worst case scenario, he got charged or was comboed out so I could draw into other stuff. But he's good, like, Bad Ring, Laser Bait, and stuff like that, or Nimbus if I have to side that in. My yellow legate was Roshi. I run 3 of these. Again, just to make sure I've got like 10 cards for my yellow package, so I have something to charge and combo. He works nice as a negate or as just as like combo potential. If I don't need to filter through for other things as well, I can kind of drop him onto like my 6-drop before I swing or something with my leader to then draw into more cards. Defending Father Paragus. Best green super combo for this deck. It lets you draw 2, and then you just warp 1 card afterwards, so you can kind of keep that hand going nice and strong and filter through your pieces to try and find the secret rare. Yeah, that's standard. Obviously, the Broly secret rare. This came in handy a few. I only played it a few times over the weekend because I played a lot of red. I didn't really want to play my 1-drop to go to 1, so he came out. I think he won me 2 games over the weekend, but most of it I just won with the 6 and the 8-drop. I didn't use him very often, but he's really nice when obviously you can go to 1 and you can kind of control the field a bit better, but it's obviously pretty risky when they keep you at 2 for those double strikes. But I mostly won most of my games with the 8-drop and the 6. But he's obviously very, very good when you can get him out. I run free control mechanism. That just lets me pop a Broly, draw a card, and continue on through my chain. So he comes out off the 2-drop. I hardcasted it a few times when I didn't have like the 1-drop or the 2-drop, and I had this in hand. It just helps me cycle through and quickly go through my chain if I need to. I've got 3 shocking death ball, and I've got an extra one in the side deck as well. I main decked 3 to start off with, just because my space was getting a little bit tight, because I was pretty set on having that 10-card yellow package as well. So I did start with 4, and I only had 2 Roshi, but then I swapped it around just to have my ratios a little bit easier, so I could definitely charge yellow, either on turn 2 or 3. I've got 2 Tragic Awakening. If I was to change anything in this deck now, I would probably make it so I had another Tragic Awakening in my side deck, because that's nice for a few matchups. I got fairly lucky and I didn't actually see Janemba in the Team Wars at all. They were usually in Seat B or Seat A, but I would have definitely have wanted one of these extra for the mill matchup. I main deck 2 Battering Laser, which was a fantastic card. This was MVP in a few of my games, where a few people I think expected Broly to side deck this card. I didn't really look at many other Broly lists, if I'm honest, so I don't know if other people were main decking this card, but this was really nice when going for those big kill turns. Especially with like when I got the 8-drop out on say like turn 2 or turn 3, and they had maybe overextended or tapped out. I could just bad ring like a Sparking Negate, which might take them say from like 3 down to 2. And then I just go all in with like my 8-drop or my 6-drop, and most of the time they couldn't deal with it. I'd obviously only do that if they didn't have energy up for like God Strike and stuff like that, because I know that card was floating around quite a bit at the event. 3 Cold Bloodlust, again, this is kind of necessary. We started with 2, upped it to 3, because this was a really nice card to have for a few of the matchups that were popping up. Everybody kind of knows how Bloodlust work and how important it is, so when you're running yellow, you definitely want that, and obviously the benefit of this Broly leader is that it is Frieza's army, so you can run it in this deck. Going over to my side deck then, so that's over this area up here. So I run 1 Shocking Death Ball, which I sided in against the Skillku matchup. I had a few of those throughout the day. I had Preemptive Strike in. I don't think I actually sided this in over the weekend, because any deck that was kind of spitting out monsters that I was worried about tended to have minus Killy in the team event. So I didn't actually side those in, but I think they are nice to have, so I kind of gave them a spot. Same thing kind of goes for Crusher Ball. That would have been nice in a few matchups, but I didn't end up using it too often. I think I sided it in my first matchup against the Shenron Agents of Destruction, but I never actually saw this card. I think I charged it, only put 1 of them in. I've got 2 Flying Nimbus. This was good for like decks that were going wide. I did face a red aggro deck that was dropping lots of like 1-drops and Vekus and stuff like that could cycle through for free. So Nimbus came in really handy with that and kind of shut him down for a turn and gave me some breathing room to kind of go through my chain and start popping stuff off. Frieza's cool. I'm not sure on this card. It's nice for obviously if you've got yellow open and you draw into it and you want to grab like Paragus, but you don't get the effect of being able to find control mechanism because Paragus has to be played from hand. So I didn't actually play this card at all over the weekend. I never sided it in. Minus Killy Zone is great for a few things, like when you're playing in the mirror, which I didn't actually have to do over the weekend, but Minus Killy is nice for obviously making sure you don't get bloodlusted and then popped if you swing to like refill your hand with your leader, because I know that obviously stops the chain. So I didn't need to use that this weekend. I didn't play any yellow. Heavenly Wizard is great. I really like this card again for the mirror, and it was good for the baby matchup. Because I was playing baby in singles, so I expected a few babies to kind of pop up in teams as well. And my last match against James Winterburn, I slided this in for to be able to get rid of the big ape and stuff like that. And he also was doing it to my Broly's, so that was a fun, interesting match. So that's a really good card. I really like this one for siding in. Mercenary Tau. Wasn't sure on my last 2 spots really, because obviously with it being Team Wars and we have to share the bullets, I was kind of left with this card, but I thought it was one of the best options to have, and it actually came in really useful. I did actually have a Lord Slug player that I had to play against in round 4, I think, and this just locked out his whole engine. I knew that obviously I can't then play extra battle cards when I've got a Broly on the field and the Mercenary Tail, but what it allows me to do is kind of lock out his whole deck idea, okay, so we can't start milling my hand away. Which is, although Broly does draw a lot, when you've only got 6 cards a turn, and Slug has the potential to, say, remove all of those cards and go for game, because Broly obviously takes a lot of its own life, I feel like this card was pretty necessary, and it was definitely MVP in the Slug game. I kind of controlled that whole match. I knew that he'd have removal with the other green cards that Slug can run to try and remove my Broly with, like, higher cost cards. I think it's Father Son Kamehameha. I think it was that card which was removing my Broly's and stuff, so that just kind of helped me go through my chain anyway. I didn't really need to have in that matchup, the Paragus 1 drop or the 2 drop when the opponent's removing my Brolys for me anyway. And he just sat on the field the whole game and made it so really all the Slug player could do was charge and pass and maybe do like swing with his leader, and honestly he only had 2 or 3 cards in his hand the whole game. So that was a nice easy victory thanks to Tal there. So that's my deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it and that it's useful. I know it's pretty basic for a Broly build. A lot of the cards are don't change around too much. I guess the main thing that we had here was I did run one hidden power Supreme Kai up here. We debated this card for a little bit, but I was pretty set on running it. I know my teammates kind of wanted a double strike as well, but just having one copy of this card, this did actually win me 3 games over the weekend where people didn't expect it, where they'd say sparking negate my 8 drop or something, and I put some pressure on a little bit so they'd have to combo, and I'd go in with my leader swing, knowing that they didn't have anything then left to kind of combo out of it, and I dropped down hidden power, make sure I say very loudly that I declare so I didn't get sharked on it or anything, and then combo hard onto that. So my leader swing actually with the hidden power double strike won a few matches over the weekend, so that's a nice card to just have as a one-off. Maybe an extra one on the side deck if I removed freeze is cool. But yeah, that's what I was running. Hope you enjoyed it. The event was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and Team EXT obviously did extremely well. Jason took first place in singles, so well done to Jason. And Sandy's team, which, correct me if I'm wrong, was Sandy Carter, Nathan Hills, and James Winterburn took first place in the teams event, and they're the ones which knocked us out of top 8. So well done, guys. That was fantastic. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and see you guys next time.